Today we're going to talk about bioprinting, the future of organ transplants. So, what's bioprinting and how it works? Bioprinting is a process of using a 3D printer to create a living tissue. The printer deposits the living cells in a predetermined pattern, layer by layer, to create the desired tissue. So, bioprinting has the potential to transform the way we treat many diseases and injuries. By creating custom tissue implants, we can avoid the immunologic rejection that often occurs with traditional transplants. Additionally, the bioprinting can be used to create models of diseases which can be used for research and drug development. The technology is still in its early stages, but there have been some promising results. In 2015, a team of researchers from Wake Forest University successfully printed a human ear using a 3D printer. The ear was made from a biodegradable plastic and was populated with living cells. The ear was then transplanted into a rat where it's functioning normally. So while there's still much work to be done, bioprinting represents a potential transformative technology with the potential to change the way we treat disease and injury.
3D bioprinting of organs has the potential to significantly change modern healthcare, as with this new technology, organs can be printed on demand, thus eliminating the need for human organ donation or animal transplants. Organ donation could potentially be rejected by the host due to incompatible tissue cells between the donor and the receiver. Hence, bioprinting reduces the risk of organ rejection as the tissue is created from the patient's own cells. Moreover, the major benefit that bioprinting has is that with an increased access to organs, the need for organ donors is drastically reduced, which removes the ethical dilemma in current organ transplants of in order to save a life, another person must die, in which this increased access to organs could also potentially end the illegal trade of them and the human abuses surrounding this. Additionally, in the long term, the elimination of organ donors may result in a reduction in medical costs associated with transplantation and organ wait times, particularly for younger individuals whose donor pool is currently limited. I will now hand it over to Nathaniel to discuss the impacts on society.
With the introduction of bioprinting in the medical industry, it has significantly impacted society. As discussed earlier in the benefits, it improved upon organ donation, specifically the wait list. It reduced the number of patients on the waiting list by how a printed organ could be produced in a few weeks, which is a huge leap for the field as hundreds of thousands of patients are in dire need of a transplant that matches a specific criterion. It can not only solve the issue of organ and tissue shortages, but also overcome several ethical problems related to transplantation, such as transportation of the organ and number of surgeries needed, thus improving the general treatment of patients. The creation and the use of this biotechnology reduces the cost of transplants. The cost of an organ transplant is roughly $900,000, as the printing of multiple organs and tissue would decrease the waitlist and reduce the scarcity of organs over time. Although accessibility has been a challenge with other cutting-edge and pricey therapies, bioprinting runs the same risk of becoming accessible only to the very rich, which widens the income equality in medicine, leading society to question the biotechnology.
The basic rule of medical ethics, primum non nocere, first do not harm, is often used to examine new emerging technology. The goal of bioprinting is to provide personalized treatments targeting specific patient condition. Although short-term results have been successful, long-term in vivo studies is unknown due to limited clinical testing because of the major harm provided when giving other patients a specific stem cell. Due to this uniqueness, current standard double-blind randomized trials cannot be used. Not only this, the line of therapy and human enhancement is blurred. Furthermore, bioprinting is being examined as treatment of the future or profitable technology. Due to this profitable aspect, monopolization of this technology may occur. This is problematic for social stratification, where middle to low income countries will have limited access. This may also lead to black market in biofabricated organs.
There's been an exponential increase in the amount of research in the 3D bioprinting field with the end goal of printing functioning organs. Curricula and colleagues demonstrated a method that uses laser-assisted bioprinting, or LAB, that has shown great success in the feasibility of printing in situ of a calvaria defect on mice. The printed mesenchymal stromal cell remains viable, and they also proliferated both in vitro and in vivo, meaning that LAB could efficiently print functioning mammalian cells. Majority of papers published has been for medical and cell biology research. One of the first companies to 3D bioprint liver tissue was Organovo in 2013, and in 2019, they tested whether 3D bioprinting could be used to create tumor tissue incorporating both cancer and stromal cell types. Compared to 2D environments, 3D environments show altered gene expression profiles and tumorigenic phenotypes, specifically cell proliferation. The cancer cell growth in bioprinted tissue accurately models in vivo phenotype and can be used in precision medicine for therapeutic responses on patients. This technology has enormous potential, as highlighted above, along with the production of pathology model, mini-tissue production for drug screening, and the future of regenerative medicine through replacement of tissues and organs.
Ultimately, 3D bioprinting is a potentially revolutionary scientific technology that could have widespread implications in the medical community. The value of the market was $651 million in 2019, and this is expected to reach $1.65 billion by 2024. This will hopefully reduce the prices on commercial units, which currently range anywhere from $5,000 up to $200,000. It currently leaves bioprinting in a somewhat cost-prohibitive stage. However, there is also a plethora of legal framework and ethical questions that need to be explored, defining what constitutes a native or synthetic tissue and who should have access to this technology. Although bioprinting has potentially life-saving implications in hospitals and operating theatres, it also carries the potential for an explosion of black market and unregulated activity in trade of tissue and organs. In closing, bioprinting is a technology with great potential. However, these processes are still a long way from being accessible or fully regulated in the medical community.